Material Madness, a true but slightly fictionalized account of how Lumion material sizes can quickly get out of hand in the office and what you can do about it. We were looking for a go-to rough material, and an intern found this lovely Textura 2 material on the Raywote site. It was free. We took a look, and it looks pretty nice. Lots of fine detail, good all-around coarse texture for architecture. Since she was a fantastic intern, she asked what kind of quality I wanted. And I said, well, our brand's all about quality, so make as nice a material as you can. And she got to it. A short time later, she called me over to our material studio in Lumion for our first look at the material. Call the studio the Island for obvious reasons. And at first glance, the material looked really good. You can see it's got some nice detail, just like it looked in the online shop. It stands up to zooming quite well. And so I was very impressed. The only concern I had was that it had taken some time to load. So when I went to look at the material file itself, I saw that it actually was 305 megabytes. And that, of course, is a problem. You can see right there. And it's a problem for a lot of reasons. First of all, as I just mentioned, it takes a long time to load, and it takes a long time to save. And if you're on a VPN, it takes a really long time to load. Also, any project that you use that material, project size will go up by 305 megabytes because Lumion has to store that material. That's not great. Next, we went into Lumion to figure out what was going on. And it's immediately apparent that there are lots of maps in all the various slots. Of course, we have a texture map. We have a relief map, as you might imagine. There's a roughness map. We've got even a displacement map. Subsurface scattering isn't really a map. It's just white, it appears. But that's a lot of maps for a pretty simple material. Also, if we hover over the maps, that's not a map also, but if we hover over the map, you'll notice at the top, it shows that these are 8K maps. And those are very, very large maps. Probably much larger than we need. And additionally, we probably don't even need all these maps. So I wondered, how small can we make this material without harming it much? And I set about making a much more efficient material. And I ended up with this lighter weight version, and waiting for that. I guess it already has loaded. And you'll notice there wasn't a dramatic change when it loaded, and that's because it is very similar to the first map, at least at this distance, which is pretty darn close. You can tell by our seagull that, we're maybe a foot or two. This sphere is 3 feet high. The raft is 8 feet by 8 feet. So we're right zoomed in on this material. I'll pull back a little bit, and you can probably detect a repeat pattern there, but it is really not too bad a material. Perfectly fine for our purposes, which is, rough things on buildings. We might extend the repeat a little further, but it's not bad. And so let's go into this material and try to understand better why. So now you'll notice there's no texture map. There is still a relief map. But now it's 511 by 511 instead of 8K. So it's a much, much smaller map. And all of the other map slots are blank. Of course, there's our white and there's our solid color at the top, which I used to make it approximately the same color as the original texture map was. So when we look at this map, you'll see that it is only 61K. So it is 1/5000th the size of the original map. And I think that's a pretty good bargain considering that we gave up so little to make it. So that's a quick illustration of the material madness problem, that if you're not careful, your maps can get really out of control. And they typically get out of control because you're putting more detail into them than they really need. So in Material Magic, the next part of this series, we'll talk a little bit about how you can create very efficient, very easy to edit maps that are extremely nimble and keep your file sizes small and your loads and saves in Lumion lightning fast. Thanks a lot.